welcome. Come to a comfortable seat. You can sit up on something low and soft or right on your mat. You can also kneel if you prefer that to cross-legged, or you can have your feet out ahead of you. Okay, and then bring your hands down to your legs firmly and lift up through your chest, lift up through the top of your head. Settle your eyelids closed and then let your shoulders relax. Bring your palms together to heart center. Let your finger pads connect and bring your thumbs in towards the center of your chest. Take a slow inhale in through your nose. Open your mouth, a long exhale. Then inhale slowly for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep breathing on your own. One of the main ways that we arrive on our mat is creating a buffer from the experience that led you here. And part of that buffer is created by deepening the breath, so you can become a bit more sensitive to this passing moment and how you feel in your body. Now, the next time you breathe in, also reach your fingertips up towards the ceiling, and then bring your right hand down, and as you exhale, lean towards the right. Let's stay with the lean as you inhale, lots of length in your spine. And then when you exhale, come back upright and lift your right hand back up. Stay at center as you inhale, reaching. As you exhale, lean to the left, bring your left hand down. Stay with the lean as you inhale. And then exhale, come back up to center. Now let's take one more inhale, reaching up high. And as you exhale, soften your shoulders, bring your hands down. Okay, now if you're sitting on a block or if you're kneeling, if you can just come right onto your seat and bring your legs out ahead of you. Now bring your left heel in towards the front of your pelvis. And if it's best for you, you could also bring something underneath your left knee. Bring your left hand off to the left and really just lean into your hands so your right leg's a bit lighter. Now create a right angle bend at your right knee, so maybe you need to bring in your heel a little more. Flex your foot so your right toes lift and your knee is really stable. Then take your right hand to your inner right knee and press your right knee open. So we're going for rotation, external rotation from our right thigh bone. Just give a little press, see what kind of sensations arise. Okay, and then let go of that and pivot on your right heel so you actually internally rotate your leg. I'm gonna get rid of the block, it's not really working for me. Externally rotate your right leg, give a little press open again, and then internally rotate your right knee. Let's do that again. Externally rotate and press open, and then finish it off by internally rotating. Okay, let's switch sides. So come onto both sitting bones, tuck your right heel in, take your left heel open about a right angle bend at your knees, and lean over into your right hand so there's less load in your left leg. Flex at your heel, toes turned up, press into your inner left knee. This first one will hold a little bit. So our hip is a complex place in our body, and there's plenty of muscles and soft tissue working to stabilize it. We're just giving them a little more space. And then let go of your inner knee and instead internally rotate your left leg. Let's come open, pressing open, and then turn your knee in. Okay, one more like that. Press your knee open, right, and then turn your knee in. Okay, now take both of your legs back behind you, come up to your hands and your knees, and take your knees just a little wider than hip width distance apart. Bring your toes in close and then settle your hips back and walk your hands forward. Coming into extended child's pose. And maybe a block goes nicely underneath your forehead so you can really let your body relax down towards the mat. Now, if it's possible through your shoulders, press down through your finger pads and lift your wrists up. And so that's gonna draw the flesh of the sides of your rib cage forward and create just a little bit more room through your side bodies. And at the same time, try to settle your hips down and draw your tailbone in the direction of your heels. Try to take a long and steady inhale, and then a full exhale. And then lift your head and come back up to your hands and knees. Now we'll take this into a posture with a similar feeling, more elevation, downward facing dog. So curl your toes under, fingers spread wide, lift your hips up and back. And while we're here, let's take a little time to pedal your heels towards the mat, just one at a time. Also a good time to get in tune with what it's like to move with your breath. So try to keep your breath steady as you open up the stretch into one leg at a time. Okay, and then settle into down dog. Now the next time you breathe in, lift your heels up higher. And when you breathe out, bend your knees, look forward, stride or even hop your feet forward, up to your hands, and come up to a halfway lift so you're lengthening, and maybe your hands are on blocks. I should bring them closer. And then when you exhale, fold in towards your legs. Let's do that 2 more times. So an inhale to lengthen your spine, roll your shoulders back, and then exhale to bow. And once more, inhale into a strong back, and then exhale and fold. Okay, now lift your chest a little so you can move with more ease. Step your right foot back, take a long stride, spin your right heel flat to the ground, and come up to warrior 2. So take your hands to your hips to start. Spread your feet wide enough that the pose feels a little bit challenging, and then bend your left knee over your left heel. Let's take our left hand to your left inner knee and very gently, kind of like we did from seated, press your inner knee open. But try to keep the ball of your left foot really firm to the ground. Keep your left hand here for the time being, but roll your right shoulder back so you're turning wide towards the side of your mat. Extend your right arm open. And then let's do the same with the left arm. So take both arms wide like a T. Settle down through your shoulders, lift up through the top of your head, and then if you wish, turn your gaze over your left hand. Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Let's take 2 more dedicated breaths. The next time you breathe out, lean towards your left leg, bring your hands down to blocks or the ground, and step your right foot forward. So come up to a halfway lift, lengthen out your spine. And then as you exhale, bow in towards your legs. Okay. As you inhale, create a little lift through your chest again, enough that you can step your left foot back. Once your toes land, spin your heel flat and lift your upper body. Bring your hands to your hips. Again, separate your feet wide enough that there's a little challenge in the pose for you, and then bring your right knee over your right heel. Your right hand to your right inner knee or inner thigh, and gently press your right inner knee or thigh open. Keep the ball of your right foot planted firmly, and then keep your right hand for here for now, and roll your left shoulder back so your chest is turned sideways. Extend your left arm. Now let's bring our right arm up too, so arms open like a T. And then settle down through your shoulders, but try to keep your spine lifted and long. And your gaze can be turned as your chest is turned or over your right hand. Okay, 2 more slow breaths. Just moving with your breath. Lean in towards your right leg, bring your hands down around your right foot, maybe onto blocks, and step your left foot forward. Again, let's come up to a halfway lift. And then as you exhale, bow in. Now put enough bend in your knees that you can bring your hands right to the mat and take a couple steps back, downward facing dog. And as you meet down dog, just pedal out your heels a couple times, let your legs release from the effort, stretch out your arms, press down through your finger pads. Now, as you breathe in next time, slowly roll forward to plank. So stop when your shoulders come over your wrists. Your knees can stay off the mat or bring them down to the mat, and that may help you breathe better. Lengthen out your neck, lift up through the back edges of your ears. And the next time you breathe in, press away from the ground. As that turns to an exhale, bend your elbows and lower down. And then untuck your toes. Press down through the tops of your feet with straight legs. And then take your elbows wide out to the sides, pinky fingers down, thumbs up. Press down through the front of your pelvis and then lift up through your chest. And so your forearms actually help you lift it first and lift up through the back edges of your ears. So you can keep yourself just as so, or if you wish, you can hover your elbows. And when you do that, it may feel better to take your elbows back, or if you have room, you can also extend your fingertips forward. And so that's gonna add bit by bit more and more upper back strength. And you can just pause at what feels reasonable in your body. Okay, 2 more breaths. Okay, soften down, bring your palms down. Your choice, down dog or child's pose. Let's take about 3 breaths. And if you're in child's pose, come up to either your hands and knees or downward facing dog. Okay, so from either your hands and knees or down dog, float your left foot up and then step your left foot forward in between your hands. And maybe you use your left hand to help your left heel come all the way forward. Spin your right heel flat to the ground. And again, let's come up warrior 2 pose. So knowing where you are in the pose, as before, spread your feet open. Let's take our arms directly open to the sides. Okay, keep your left knee bent over your left heel. Lift from your belly button towards your spine, so there's a bit of toning in your lower abdomen. And then begin to lean towards the left. And then lower your left hips. Your pelvis actually takes on a little bit of an angle, and keep reaching if there's space. Now you can bring your left hand to your left thigh. If you lean a little further, if it's okay to bring your elbow to your thigh, go ahead. And then further, if there's a block nearby, if you'd like to use your left hand on the block, then you can do that too. For some of you, your hand may meet the ground. I'm gonna go for my elbow. Now turn your right palm up to the ceiling, roll both of your shoulders back, reach up through your right fingertips, and then here you can stay, your arms open wide, or you can extend further and press down through your right heel and reach out through the crown of your head. Maybe your right fingertips too. Your gaze can be as your chest is facing. And then this one's actually opposite to warrior 2. You could look towards the right, up and underneath your right arm bone. Try to hug your feet in towards each other with a gentle lift up through your pelvic floor to preserve the pose in your body, your core stability. Let's take 2 more breaths. Come away from the pose, look down, soften your right hand down, maybe a block or the ground itself. Turn yourself to a runner's lunge and then get your hands right to the mat underneath your shoulders. Step back, downward facing dog. Okay, let's move to our other leg. So float your right leg up and step your right foot forward. So maybe your hand again comes, helps your heel get all the way underneath your knee, and then spin your left heel flat to the ground and rise up, warrior 2. So the pose is different when you're upright. There may be room to open your feet a little wider. Take your arms open wide to settle through your shoulders. Before leaning, lift your lower belly back towards your spine, and then reach out through your right hand. So you take a little lean to the right, and then draw your right hip down and back so your pelvis actually tilts, and that may give you room to lean a little bit further. Your hand can come to your thigh, your elbow can come to your thigh, maybe your hand comes down onto a block or to the ground. Let your right arm serve you, and then turn your left palm up to the ceiling and reach up. Maybe you pause here or reach your fingertips forward with your palm turned down. Now try to use the strength of your upper back to glide your shoulder blades down your back so your neck has a little bit more length. Your gaze can be as your chest is facing, or turn to the left, up and underneath your left arm. Try to hug your feet in towards each other. So we're in maintenance mode now, hugging your feet in, lift up through your pelvic floor, your lower belly still working to support your spine. And then there is your breath. Let's take 2 more. Good hold, everyone. Let's move away from the pose, look down, bring your left hand down, turn into a runner's lunge, and then step back, downward facing dog. Okay, so our thighs need a little bit of space. Let's come onto our mat, onto your hands and knees first, and then sit down and bring your legs out ahead of you. So we're going to do 2 thigh openers, the first one from seated. So create about a right angle bend at your knees, lean back into your fingertips. You could also lean into your palms or lean into fists. Roll your shoulders down, hug your shoulder blades into the back of your rib cage and press down through your feet. So you can stay as you are here. This is a chest opener, or if you feel comfortable lifting your hips up, you can do that too. Try to keep your thighs parallel to each other. Your gaze can be forward off your knees, up towards the ceiling, or release your head back. Working with strong hands, strong feet. Now, if you took your head back, then gradually lift it back up and ease your hips to the mat. And we're going to come onto our back, working in a similar pose. This one will be bridge pose. So as you lie down, walk your heels in towards your sitting bones, place your feet about hip width distance apart. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you and bend your elbows so your fingertips turn up. Press down through your feet and arms and then curl your tailbone away from the mat. And then as you push through your feet, lift the back of your pelvis off the mat. Peel your spine off the mat until your chest is lifted too. And continue to press down through the backs of your upper arms, and maybe your chest can rise a little bit higher. Your arms can stay just as they are now, or unfold at your elbows and bring your hands down, and tuck each of your arms underneath you if there's space. And when they come closer, it may feel best to have your palms turned up or your palms turned down. Or if your hands are close, you could interlace your fingers and reach your knuckles towards your heels. And let your breath move as freely as it can, up and in towards your belly as you inhale, and settling down towards your feet and shoulders as you exhale. Okay. And create a little room between your shoulder blades. Just basically walk your arms out wider and then roll down through your spine. Take your time, vertebra by vertebra, coming down right until your pelvis is on the mat. And then bring your knees in towards your chest. Take your knees a little wider apart from each other. Lift your feet, happy baby pose. Reach up through the insides of your legs to grab your calf muscles or your ankles or the outer edges of your feet. And then draw your shoulders down towards your mat and hug your thigh bones down towards the mat. And if there's room, you can even take a little rock side to side. Sometimes that can help you edge a little bit closer to the ground, one side at a time. Okay, then next is Shavasana. So let go of your feet, stretch out your legs, take your heels a little wider, and maybe something goes underneath your knees, something low and soft like a bolster. And then take your arms down by your sides, but give yourself some space. You could even create kind of a starfish shape with your body if you have room. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you, and let's take a slow inhale in through your nose. Open your mouth and exhale. And then release your breath. Release control of your breath so it can settle back to its natural rhythm. If you notice any effort left still in your thighs or your hips, just really allow your legs to let go, your hips to let go. Encourage your breath to become a bit deeper, helping to refresh you, to wake you up again. Press your feet off the front of your mat. Extend your arms off the back of your mat. Take a deep breath in again. Full breath out. Then place the soles of your feet flat to the mat. Roll over onto your right side. Fetal pose. And press down to lift your upper body. As you come up, turn towards the front of your mat again. Choose any comfortable seat that works in your body at this time. As we begin, bring your palms back to heart center. Take a moment to offer gratitude to all the conditions that made this practice possible for you, and that includes your strength, your intention, your effort. Thank you for sharing. Namaste.